anybody who knows me knows that I tend to shoot with my Nikon F3 or my Voigtlander R. But I recently bumped into a friend who gave me the opportunity to shoot with a Leica. It's not a Leica rangefinder, but it's a Leica SLR, the Leica RE. She was gracious enough to let me borrow it for a short while, and I had to adapt how I shot because it came with a 70-10 lens, which is amazing, incredible lens. But I generally shoot with either a 24mm or 35mm fixed prime lens, and obviously that allows me to range focus and I can kind of just shoot from the hip. So it was different having to adapt using a zoom lens for street. I had to kind of focus more on things that were happening further away, which was cool. It's just not how I shoot. I've gone through 2 rolls, so let's develop it and let's see what the shots look like. Usually I also shoot Kentmere Pan 400, but she was nice enough to give me some Ilford HP5, which is also something I've never shot with before. So it'll be cool to develop these and see how they come out, and I can compare them to the Kentmere, which I have 2 rolls to develop as well. I have 6 rolls that I need to go through. I've also got some Kodak, but let's do the HP5 today. I managed to pick one film out, but that guy's giving me grief. So we shall throw a pair of scissors in there, and I'll just crack that one open like a savage. 2 spindles. I think that's everything I need. Scissors. Let's close it up and let's start. Broken. So it's been a couple days since I've developed the film. I've developed it, scanned it, edited it. When I edit, I don't really do much. I just make sure that the contrast is right. I know it kind of defeats the point of using film, but whatever. And then I'm quite messy, so I have to edit out the dust and stuff that gets on the film because I don't use gloves and things. Long story. Anyway, so I've divided the photos into 2 different categories: street photographs and protest photographs. Purely for the fact that I wanted to see the uses, because those seem to be the 2 things that I'm photographing the most at the moment. And using the longer lens, like I said, takes a bit of getting used to because it's very different to how I normally shoot street stuff. So looking at the street stuff, like the photos are nice, but I like immersing myself within the street and within the things that I'm shooting. I kind of enjoy being close enough. I like being noticed. Maybe I'm a little bit of a narcissist. My favorite photos are photos where people see me just as I take the shot. I feel like there's then a connection and I don't feel like a voyeur. I feel like I'm part of their world. And the problem is with such a long lens is I wasn't able to do that. So I got some cool shots of situations and stuff, and I think technically they're not bad photos, but I just feel like they lack that connection that I personally like. I think maybe other people will enjoy the shots. I don't know, you guys can tell me. But I feel like I was just too far, I was too disconnected. And it's just not the kind of photo that I particularly like taking. I love looking at them, but just taking, different story for me. I did take one portrait, and I really liked that shot. It's just in a train, and I think this lens for portrait photography would be absolutely phenomenal. Again, I do normally tend to get a little bit closer, and if I'm doing portraits, I normally use like 85 or a 50. In fact, I did a whole portrait session with a 24mm the other day, so don't listen to me. But I liked the portrait shot. The street stuff was cool. It was nice to get scenarios and stuff like that. I do like how it pulls you in. Anybody who uses a zoom lens will know what I mean by that. But where I really enjoyed using this lens, and this is all more about the lens than the camera itself. The camera's just a box, really, right? I really enjoyed using it for the protests. It was really nice having the ability to pull in and be able to get close to people who were protesting something without immersing myself too much in there. Feel like with protest photography, the kind of goal is to document it and not immerse yourself in it. I know that might be a controversial stance and everybody has differing opinions with regards to that, and that's fine. But for me personally, I like to capture what's happening without my involvement in it. And with the longer lens, I was able to do that. When they're busy fighting for something else, I should be there, but not as a photographer. So I think shooting with this longer lens, during that, I really loved the photos that came out. I went to a Red Line for Palestine protest action, and the shots that came out of there were just so touching. It actually kind of made me cry this morning, and maybe I'm just a little bit emotional at the moment, but there was just a couple of shots that really brought a tear to my eye, because it brought up everything that's happening overseas and in my life. And anyway, so I really enjoyed using the lens for those situations. The Leica camera itself, really nice to use. I was shooting everything on auto. I was cheating 100%. Normally I use Sunny 16, but when I'm using a camera that I'm not familiar with and I'm worrying about distance and stuff with focusing, I don't want to have to be worrying about exposure as well. So I just put it onto spot metering, and it did a pretty good job for the most part. HP5 also really cool. It definitely has a lot of latitude, so there were a couple shots that were underexposed and I was able to pull them back quite happily. I generally tend to shoot overexposed with film, so it was nice that I had that ability to do that. Camera was great. Sounds a little machiney for me. It doesn't sound mechanical. It's like the shutters definitely got like kind of thing. Not my favorite sound in the world, but for the most part, a beautiful camera to use. The lens was beautiful, it was sharp. I wouldn't sniff at it. It was a great experience. Anyway, I hope you liked the couple of photos that I did show. Look forward to playing with another new camera. I actually have an old 1960s camera that someone gave me with an 85 prime on it. So I might take that out for a spin next. Let me know what you think. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Bye.